Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Microphone. Microphone. Here we are. All right, that's good. Forever Mirage. I think that's how I'm saying it today, and I hope it's all right. All right, guys, I need 1 minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step away for just 1 minute. Luna Events Company. What's up? Guys, I just need you to be patient for me. I respect your time, but just let me grab some water and I'll be right back because we are about to go off in this motherfucker. All right. Let me go grab a water. I'll be right back, guys. Thank you for your patience. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab a bottled water. All right. All right. Maybe I should be right back grabbing some water. Right, I've arrived. Thank you so much for your patience. Let's dive straight into it. David, do you have the capability to speak in full sentences? I do. And I'm going to jump straight into it right now for everyone that's here today. What's up? My name is David Rodriguez. I've been in the photo booth industry for a little over 4 years. And yes, my company has been able to make a little over $200,000, but it took a lot of work. It took me many, many months to get there. And I'm going to go ahead and cover some of the things that worked really, really well for me. Things that I also learned from other people in the industry that were doing it for way longer than I have and have great results and great, massive success. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to share a story with you guys first. Now, this story is important because this story allows you to kind of gain insight as far as how things pan out from a consumer standpoint and from a prospect standpoint. What's up, Tom? And the first thing I want to share with you is one of the stories that happened to me late last year in 2025. I decided to get window tint on my car. And so I went on OfferUp and I sent out messages. And then I also called a few Google places when I typed in window tint, local areas. And what I did is I called them. And for the folks on OfferUp, I messaged them. So here is what I want to share with you and what I found out as a business owner and how things really confirm that this strategy and this philosophy are really something that we got to implement into our local business as a photo booth provider. So what ended up happening is almost no one ended up picking up the phone call on the first call, and that was that. And so what ended up happening is a few hours later, one of the companies returned the call, but I didn't know who it was, so I didn't answer the phone. And then I got another call from I don't know who, but once again, I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't know who it was. They left me a voicemail. And then another company called me and they left me a voicemail, but they also sent me a text message. And so when they did that, I wasn't in a situation or even the mood to call them back and go over the pricing and things like that. So what I did is the following day early, I called back for the person that left me the voicemail, and I also followed up with the person that left me a voicemail and a message. Okay, one of them actually picked up the phone, so I was able to tell them exactly what kind of car I had, what type of tint I was looking for, and also the different quality of tints that they had. And what ended up happening is I noticed is when before I pulled the trigger and actually went to a location, I kind of got to see how it feels to be a consumer, right? Because now I was in a position in which I was hiring a company to provide a certain service and a product for my car. And what's interesting is the person who was the most persistent ended up getting my business. Some of the people on OfferUp replied with vague information. Some of them replied with just a phone number. They just put their phone number. And I started realizing that some of those people are in our, the way they were communicating with me, I've been there before. I've done the one attempt email reply before. I've been the photo booth company who calls the phone number one time and leaves a voicemail. I've been in every single situation. And so for the time being right now, what I want to do with you guys is I want to tell you exactly what's working for me right now and what allows me not only to get higher conversions, but get more money throughout the year per client. You see, what happens is when we finally land a prospect and we convert them into a client, that client has the power to continuously put money in our pockets, whether it's their very own event or whether they have a referral they like to share with us. Once again, that's for our revenue, that's for our bank account growth. So what I learned through my whole window tint experience was the person who was most persistent gave me the most information, had the best follow-up, got my $380. And after that, they even ended up getting a Google review from me because I was satisfied. Now, I didn't leave them a Google review right after my window tint because, as you guys know, if you guys tinted the windows on your car before, is that you want to give it a few days until it dries off completely to make sure that there's no residue, there's no bubbles, and then there's actually no scratches, right? No peeling going on. And after about a week or two, I kind of started examining my windows. I was so happy that the window tint didn't make a difference. And so then, yes, then I actually left them the review. Okay, so how does that play into the photo booth business? Well, now that I've mastered marketing ads, Google campaigns, what I did is I stepped away from sending my personal crew, getting my own equipment, working with the logistics and the troubleshooting, dealing with the customer, going back and forth. I ended up doing just white label, in which now I have alliances and partnerships with local photo booth businesses. And so I'll reach out to them and I'll kind of tell them more or less, okay, this is what I'm looking for. So I would need you to execute and fall in line with my workflow in order to, for us, not only meet the expectation of the client, but for us to work in harmony. And here's what I learned from local photo booth businesses that I considered to be professionals and hungry because they started their business to actually become successful. I learned quickly that I was wrong. I was wrong because some of those photo booth business owners were just doing it to make an extra $500, an extra $1,000 a month. So what does that mean? They're kind of doing it more as a hustle, a side gig, if you will. And I understand that I can't be judgmental in that sense because I understand that everyone comes from a different walk of life and everyone has a financial goal and a certain lifestyle they want to live from day to day. So I have to remind myself to remain curious and not so judgmental. But quickly, what I did is I filtered those people out of my actual funnel and having them as potential contractors because I much rather do business with people who want to scale their photo booth business and people who actually want to grow a photo booth company anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 plus. The reason why is because I feel like those people are worth my time, my energy, and my effort. And so this goes back to when you guys actually select a client that you want to do business with a certain avatar, meaning you probably don't want to do a photo booth event for someone that's only going to pay you $300, right? You have your specific client. So let me go ahead and go back a little bit because I don't want to get ahead of myself. So the next thing was this is once I figured out wow, the way this person reached out to this client via email was way more impressive than this one of my other contractors. We'll call him contractor B. The way they reached out, it was very plain. And then contractor A, we'll use contractor A as a good example, sent the email. And let's say, for example, contractor A didn't get a reply to that email, right? Then what I realized is contractor A followed up the very next day via email. Contractor B didn't do anything. All right, so a few days later pass and contractor A gets a reply via email and they take it from there. Okay, so that's just one scenario. Now, let's say, for example, your business, you're not in the same situation I am, and you're not in the same situation dealing with someone feeding you leads, warm leads, high quality leads. Let's say you kind of just doing this on your own and you're excited because you have your website and you have your Google page set up and you are getting some organic leads. You're getting some leads. I'm going to go ahead and use this specific example because I feel like more people that are watching right now can fall under this category because it's the easiest way, right? It's the easiest way, meaning you don't have to deal with campaigns, boosting ads, social media, and having a budget allocated for your marketing and advertisement. When someone calls you, you have to be honest with yourself and really gauge, where is my biggest success in my photo booth business? Is my biggest success me being the operator of my business and keeping most of the profits? Is my success being really good at taking high quality photos, but I'm not getting a lot of events? Is my success being really good at editing and posting videos every now and then when we have an event and I can do really good at editing the videos and trying to promote that way? Or is my sex really good at building infrastructures and reaching out to the client with automated systems that allow me to go back to my 9 to 5 and not stress about my side gig? So this is what I mean by there's so much levels to this, so many levels to this, that it's important that we really gauge and have a plan for ourselves as an individual. When someone calls you and you are at work at your 9 to 5, you can't answer the phone. I get it. Most of you can't. Some of you can, but some of you cannot. And for those who cannot, it's important that when they leave that voicemail, the client that was calling you is so interested in booking a photo booth business that they actually left a voicemail. Some people don't even leave voicemails. So that goes from a warm lead to a hot lead because they actually left a voicemail. Now, if you have a missed call and you're in a situation like, I don't know this number, if you don't want to call that number, you can always text message the number from a professional standpoint, reaching out. Hey, I have a missed call. This is Premium Photo Booth Rentals in Orange County. Is there anything I can assist you with, or schedule a phone call with you? So that way, that call that came in that left no voicemail, that's an unknown number, can actually start becoming a warm lead. You don't know where that call came from. The fact is, you have your business phone number tied to it. So most likely it's going to be a prospect. How many are you actually doing that part? Not a lot of you, right? Not a lot of you. You're thinking like, they didn't leave a voicemail or a text message. I guess they're not really serious about booking my business. You're absolutely wrong. And this is exactly why I wanted to have this meeting here with you guys here today, because there's a lot of things you guys are not doing. And these are the basic fundamentals. And therefore, I think for me, I got to do whatever I can to remind you guys how important this is. And I just talk out of my ass, but show you, if I've had success doing these exact things, you should have a level of success as well. All right. So now you are returning their voicemail, right? You're returning their text message, and they might not pick up again, right? Because it might be a bad time. Like it was a bad time when the window tint guy reached out to me. I was busy. I didn't pick up the phone call. But leave them another voicemail, follow up with them with another text message, or send that secondary email. Once you guys get into the habit of doing that exact part, and you guys completely psych yourselves out and tell yourselves, I am not bothering the client. I am being persistent with my potential prospect because they need a solution, and I can provide that solution. I have the skills, I have the equipment, I have the photo booth software. I am their solution. If you start thinking in that manner, then you quickly realize that every time you send them a text message, leave them a voicemail or an email or an actual phone call, you realize you're out there doing your job as a business owner, because right now, no one's going to do this for you, right? You just started your business, or you've been in business for a little over a year, and you don't have an assistant and you don't have an actual person reaching out. You're wearing all of the hats. So if you don't do it, who else is going to do it? You have to do it. And you can't say, well, my competition is cheap. Well, there's not enough demand. Bullshit. There's plenty of demand. It's just you are not positioning yourself to eat that bigger piece of the pie that's available within your radius. All right, remember, this video right here is very blunt. I'm going to be very blunt with you guys. So once you guys start implementing these small little things and you actually make it a routine, you'll know quickly within 30 days, yes, my lead flow has remained the same, but the way I'm converting those leads into actual bookings, there's been a giant increase, anywhere from 25 to 50 to 80%. I'm actually closing these leads. Once you start seeing that for your very own business and how your efforts is actually reflecting on your bank account, right? Your bank account is growing. You'll quickly realize now, not only do you have this down, but the confidence level that comes behind it, now you're going to be way more assertive, way more aggressive, and you're going to understand that every person who reached out to you, some of them ghosted you, and it was because of you. It was because of your fault, right? So don't stop reaching out to the client until they say, thank you, but I found someone already and I booked someone. That's when you fall back. That's when you say, completely understand. I apologize. I couldn't get to you any sooner. Here's our information if you need anything. And you know, the company that you booked doesn't get your 10 points. I want to be your second place. I'll remain your second point of contact. So when they mess up, I get a chance. Give me a chance. So see what happened there? You didn't lose completely. You basically said, hey, keep me on your radar just in case that person you picked did not really meet your expectations and they weren't up to par with your standards. Does that sink in? For the 10 people that are watching, what I'm saying, if this is making sense, please let me know by pressing the 1, and I hope my vocals are coming through cleanly. I try to turn on my microphone as loud as possible. Now, once you guys start doing that, this is the beginning of the year, guys. Thank you, XY Rentals. This is the beginning of the year, so it's important for you guys to start implementing this right away, and don't treat it like it's a laid back, kick back, side gig, side hustle. Let me rephrase that. If you want to be successful, you have to do the basics. And these are the fundamentals. This is exactly how I started getting more and more bookings. And the reason I am doing this in this specific order with you guys here today is because I don't want you guys to go spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on Google Ads, going through the learning curve, right? Going through the portion in which you feel like that's not going to work. And remember, my friends, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that you don't work, right? I always blame shit on myself. When things don't go according to plan, the biggest flex you can have as an entrepreneur is taking accountability and blaming yourself. That's the biggest flex. You have nobody to blame but your efforts, your workflow, and basically your work ethic. Okay, so once you guys start doing this for the next 30 days from watching this video, once you guys start getting really serious about following up with those people, doing it just like I told you, then now it comes down to one, okay, your following up skills are growing. Your salesmanship over the phone closing is also growing. You are going to sharpen yourself much faster doing repetitions because, quite honestly, there's going to be objectives. The client might say, well, that's not really within our budget. You're quickly going to start learning about, well, how do I combat that objective? When someone tells me our actual budget was more like $300, all right, say that's the case, for example, then look at your calendar. If your calendar is open and you're not booked, why will you not pocket those $300? Because remember, those $300 are going to be acquired and you're still learning. So the client is paying you to learn. So some of you guys might have an ego problem and say like, no, dog, I ain't trying to do that if I'm not getting at least $300. Well, listen up, homie. That booth that you bought, and it's not going to pay itself if it's just sitting in your storage, just sitting in your garage. So what I need you to do is be straight up with yourself. Take advantage of those $300. Go into that event, outshine, out-deliver, get prospects and leads during the event. And those $300, my friend, might just turn into $1,200. And this is what I mean is if you came into this business and you're just doing that as a side hustle, good. If you came into the business with the business plan, but the business plan isn't working, it's not that your business plan isn't working, it's that you haven't set the right expectation for yourself and you don't have the right models in place. So do it. Get down to it. Breathe it. Leave. And then also, guys, Every single week, do a self-evaluation. Go over your contact list. Out of the people that you reached out, how many times did you touch points, right? It's called touch points. When it comes to touch points, you need to make a minimum of 3 touch points to even get that client on the phone, or even give them the idea that, hey, I'm here for you, so they can entertain the idea of possibly actually hiring you. That's another thing. Okay. And so now let's say, for example, you have fast forward, right? 3 months have gone by and you have realized there is a difference now. Now you're averaging a minimum of 4 to maybe 5 events a month. You're not happy with that number, but you're happy with the results of what these organic leads are coming in, how many you're closing. You're happy with that. You're happy with yourself because now you catch yourself being more sharp. You catch yourself hanging out with different people. You catch yourself making better decisions because now you've entered a paradigm in which you take your business seriously. Just like every single inquiry that comes in, you see it as a prospect. You see it as a potential investment. They are an investment. You invest time in them, right? Reach out to them through all those formats. Show up to the event, over deliver. You invest in them. Believe me, they're going to become a repeat client. And most importantly, they're going to refer other friends and family to you. So this is the free route. This is how you start making money absolutely for free, because you're not spending a single dime on campaigns, on ads, on Google ads, right? And my friends, this is the part that I want to share here with you here today, because once you master this part, then you will become a savage when it comes to running Google ads. Because now what's happening is, let's say, for example, throughout the month, you were getting 10 leads in 1 month. 10 organic leads. Okay, what's organic leads? Again, I will repeat this. Organic leads are basically people who inquire, find you via website, Instagram, social media, or your Google business profile. This is organic leads because they came in organically. You didn't have to pay to get those leads. Those came in just because you position yourself with the right keywords, and also you happen to be the closest local photo booth service provider in their actual radius. Okay. So say, for example, you get 10 organic leads a month. And because you've polished yourself, you become so good at closing deals. Let's say you're closing anywhere from 60 to 80% of those leads. Then what happens, my friend? You are getting 6 to 8 events out of those 10 inquiries, which in my book, I would say, bro or homegirl, you're solid. That's good. Those are good stats. But now you're hungry. You got the taste, like you're like, shit, this actually works. This is good. I'm actually making more money. What should I do with the extra money I'm doing? Now, this is when you go into level 2. This is when you start what people will call you level up. And if you're a Pokemon, you are evolving, right? So now you take some of that capital and you start investing in Google ads and finding out, how much money do I have to spend on Google ads so that I can go from getting 10 organic leads to 30 leads. Okay, so that means 10 organic leads, if you're getting that on average organically, and 20 leads through your actual Google campaign. Now, those 20 leads that you get through your Google campaign, if you still remain the same stats, getting anywhere from 60 to 80% closing rate, then right there, you got to a point where you have unlocked it. What I mean by that is that you have found exactly what it takes to be a successful photo booth business and scale how big you want. And that's the point where I got to that point, and it took me more than 2 years. But I'm sharing this information because it can take you half a year or less to get to this actual level, right? And the reason you can scale so quickly is because now you know how to close. Now you know how to communicate. By now, you probably have some type of automation going on in which you can actually deliver things to the client. Your deliverables are much faster because you're leveraging AI, you're leveraging modern day tech, you're leveraging software, okay? And you're much faster now at what you do. You're much faster at creating overlays. You're much faster at going through the whole point of sale, everything that entails the whole administrative portion of the business. But you become really deadly now because you're going to learn how to run Google ads locally. And once you know how to run ads successfully, it can get to a point that for the $1,000 that you spend on ads, you can actually get $2,000 to $3,000 back on that $1,000 you used to run ads. And this is how your boy David, who's been doing this for a little over 4 years, has had so much success with the business. And guys, you can do this with 1 to 2 photo booths. I say 2 photo booths, and that's what I titled it, is because I also believe in having backup. Remember, if you guys start getting busy and you only have 1 booth, that right there, my friend, is really risky, because if 1 booth goes down, how long is it going to take you to get a replacement to make sure you fulfill all the bookings that you have already lined up? So I say have a minimum of 2 booths. Down the line, you'll be like some of these folks that I interview, they have like 15 booths. Okay, it'll take time, but this is why I made this video, to save you time. This is the value in this video. This is basically shortening the learning curve. So do this here and do this today, do this immediately. So once you start running Google ads, you will become unstoppable, and you can start actually making over $100,000 a year with a photo booth business. And it's no longer a side hustle. It's an actual company that you can turn around and you can sell that company. And that's exactly what I wanted to share with you guys here today in this video. I hope you found it helpful. What I'm going to be doing next is I'll take the next 5 minutes to answer any questions you guys may have. So for those who are watching right now, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and place them in the actual comment section here right now. Thank you. Luna Events Company. I realized this today. I noticed too late. I didn't reply to leads for over a month. I was a problem. Accountability is so good when it comes to entrepreneurship. So I'm glad you evaluated and came to the conclusion that yes, we are the problem. There's too many people having success in this business for us not to also have our own success, right? So thank you so much for being straight up and vulnerable and taking accountability for that. Those are the kind of people that I actually enjoy being around. So thank you for sharing that. Making $200,000 with 2 photo booths. I've told you in the past, XY Rental, don't tell people how many events they are doing. That's none of your business, and that doesn't change how much money is in your bank account. You guys got to stop doing that shit. Why would you care how many events your partner down the street is doing, or it doesn't affect the food that's on your table. Don't ask those questions. Start asking strategic questions that are actually going to help your business grow and boom. Those questions that you're asking are completely irrelevant, and I hope you stop doing that in the near future. Don't ask people questions that have nothing to do with your growth or your evolution, because if I tell you, hey, bro, I'm doing 30 events a month, how does that change your life if I even say I'm doing 5 events a month? So XY Rentals, that is not important. That question is not a solid strategic question, okay? Remember, guys, I'm going to be solid with you guys because I'm getting old, and quite frankly, we don't have no time to bullshit. I want this here, these minutes that I'm never going to get back in my life, to mean something, okay? Tom Wiki writes, number of events really don't matter. Number of events don't really matter to a degree. That right there, I can agree with you. Because remember, guys, all right, to Tom Wiki's point there, the number of events don't truly matter. If I do 5 events and those clients paid me $1,000, that's $5,000 a month. If I do 10 events and those clients paid me $500, still, I'm making $5,000 a month. So yes, sometimes the number of events is actually irrelevant. There's people in the photo booth business that I've actually interviewed that do just a couple of events a year. But these people, this is one thing that I'm going to just be very honest. It's not embarrassing. It's just the truth. But I never had a client that paid me over $20,000 for a photo booth production. However, I've actually met people in person who have events, who have got brand deals that made over $20,000 in a 1-day event or maybe a 2-day event. And for me right there, I find that fascinating because it goes back to if it's possible. It goes back to it's perfectly possible. I just didn't position myself or brand myself well enough to actually acquire that client. My outreach just wasn't solid where I was promoting my business probably on the platforms. I did not get that whale to see me and my actual photo booth business. Therefore, it is my fault. I didn't position myself correctly. And remember, guys, this is all about accountability. And this is me, again, being very, very blunt with you guys. I have love for business. I don't have love for lazy people, for people like feed me, feeding me. Get the fuck out of here with the feed me. We're entrepreneurs. We have to figure this out on our own. What I'm doing right here is I just want you guys to accelerate and grow quickly so that down the road we can conduct business when you guys have reached a certain level. And I'm sharing this information because once again, what I said is this still on? Yeah. What I said was for the local photo booth companies that I am doing business with, giving them leads. Some of them I've cut off completely because their follow-up skills are not there, right? Their philosophy when it comes to business is not there. They're not doing what it takes to close that lead. So then they wonder, well, we don't have a lot of events, David, so I would absolutely love it if you start sending us leads. So to me, it's like, okay, I'll give you a shot. Let me take a look at your Google business profile. All right, cool. Let me take a look at your Instagram. All right, it's not that bad. Let's see if your strengths are somewhere else. So what I'll do is I'll give them a chance and I'll send them a couple of leads. And I get to see not only how they follow up with the client, but also how they follow up with me telling me, hey, David, on X, Y, and Z, I made 2 attempts and then I did X, Y, and Z. Like, there's people that I give them a lead, I never hear from them again. I'm thinking, I'm not going to babysit them. These guys are photo booth business owners, they're entrepreneurs. I expect them to be professional and follow up with me because communication is key. So then what I do, I quickly turn them off and I never send an email for them. I don't send them text messages anymore and I don't want to deal with them ever again because quite honestly, they're there for a reason. Now, there's a small number of photo booth businesses locally here that I do business with on a weekly basis. Why? Because they have work ethics. They're professionals. They follow up. They understand what I'm trying to accomplish, and I understand what they're trying to accomplish as well. So we fuse well together, and that's when we can form an alliance, and we're all winning. The client is winning. Why? Because the client has a good match. The client has a good person who's going to help them plan their event. I'm winning because as a white label company, I get to get representatives out there to go out there and really satisfy the client and have a high closing ratio when it comes to me feeding them these leads. Now, what else can I share with you? That's important. And remember, guys, there's levels to this. All right, any more questions? So for everyone on Instagram, if you guys go to the story, there's a link that's going to take you to the live that's going on right now here on YouTube. I encourage you guys to meet here on the live that's going on YouTube. People are posting their questions. We just covered an amazing philosophy, not even a philosophy, but a proven working strategy that I've implemented that's allowed me to make over $200,000 with photo booth rental businesses. And all you really need is 2 booths, but you need willpower, discipline, and you need an infrastructure, and you need to breathe. You need to eat. You need to sleep this philosophy, wake up and do it again and again and again. So I'll see you guys there. If you guys are interested in posting your questions right here, this is time that I'll never get back. So I'm investing in folks who care about their photo booth rental business. What's up, everyone? All right. Let's see, any more questions per month, number of events? Thank you so much. I watch all your videos. Forever Mirage, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. The best question is that year over year growth. Exactly. That's a good way of looking at it long term. Tom, it's all about the trajectory, right? Not the daily, not the weekly, but the actual trajectory. So yes, an annual basis through maybe a quarterly basis in which you can pivot, refine your actual strategy and see how you can actually make it work 1% better. If you can fix things and make it 1% better every single week, then at the end of the year, you've improved your business plan by 52 to 53%. My friend, it's all about your trajectory, okay? There's a book that I've read twice already called Atomic Habits. That's where I learned some of this work ethic from. Not even learned the work ethic, but got familiar with the perspective, got familiar with the philosophy, and then I had to go in there and apply it, right? I have to go out there and actually do it. And that's what I am. I'm a motherfucking doer. That I get shit done. That's why I'm a loner, because I'm way too focused on my business. And there's way too many people who don't care about your business. There's way too many people that don't care if you succeed or you fail. And I don't understand why people waste so much time hanging out with fake friends, fake family, and being in terrible toxic relationships instead of just investing in yourself with no distractions to see how far you can get in just 6 months. Speaking from the heart, man. Speaking from the heart. What are the questions we got, guys? I'm taking questions right here on YouTube Live here today. Big Hit Photo Booth. What's up, David? Love your content. Thank you for watching, brother. Big hit photo booth, best advice to go from hustle mentality to business mentality. Yeah, this video basically covered exactly that. It's going to take you how going from a hustle perspective, right, to making, $500 extra a month, maybe $1,000, to actually show you guys how to make upwards of $5,000 every single month, in a sense, working part-time. Because remember, the photo booth, our services, people use them primarily Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, sometimes once or twice during the weekdays. But this is the kind of job that could pay you full-time income working part-time. And I do this full-time. More questions here. I appreciate Forever Mirage. I appreciate you for this, David. Thanks for being real and helping us to hold ourselves accountable. That's all it is. Because remember, guys, no one cares about our business success. Really, no one's ever gonna come to save us. It's a sad truth, man. That's the kind of world we live in. Is no one's coming to save us. So if we take accountability, right? If we do, constant self retrospect, we evaluate our decisions, right? And then we take full accountability for every single thing, the great and the bad. We will have this spike in growth, and people that you used to hang out with won't even recognize you anymore. I'm saying this from experience, man. Let's see. I think I got a question coming in from Michael 4447. Hey, love your videos. I have learned so much. Thank you for all that you do. I apologize if this is off topic, but how do you keep your DSLR charged on your 360 booth for the 3 to 5 hour event? For the DSLR, there's multiple ways. You can do the same exact concept you would do for a photo booth and have it connected to a dummy battery, and then having that dummy battery USB Type-C cable connected to a power bank that has an output of minimum 35 watts. And so you can go on and for forever, I want to say minimum 3 hours. Or if you want to minimize the weight on the 360 video arm, what you can also do is you could take at least 4 to 5 batteries with you. These are the individual smaller batteries. So those are the two methods that I've done in the past. I hope that helps. What do you do daily that you think every photo booth owner should be doing? That's a freaking fascinating question. I'm glad someone asked that. So this is what I used to do, okay? I don't do it as much, but this is what I used to do until I got to a level where now I'm looking at new charts. What I would do is I would go on my website, I would go on my Google business account, and I would see what the traffic flow is. I would see how many people came to my Google page today. Okay, how many people went onto my website today? And then when I started learning, like, okay, is this metric, is this statistic, right? Are these stats making a difference in my success? And if the answer was yes, then I would find a way to drive more traffic to my Google business page, and I would find a way to drive more traffic to my website. And then I also figured out, well, why not have them all interlinked, like create this large web across my entire area, right? So then I started making sure that I add all of my social media to my website, and also have my website on my social media if my website contains the actual link to get the folks to leave their deposit and actually book on the calendar. Some people might disagree with me, but I'm just sharing things that have actually worked for me. So those are some of the things you can start doing immediately, because in this life, during this lifetime, in this lifetime, here's what I learned is that whatever you focus on grows. And whatever you focus on, you can actually measure. So yes, you can measure your success if you are actually paying attention to what matters. And because you guys need exposure, you need people to find your business. Right now, every day you wake up and you think about your businesses, how do I get more exposure? Because what I shared with you at the beginning of this video is something that you start implementing when you start getting more exposure and you start getting inquiries about your services. But that is a good question. So I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to overcomplicate things. I want you guys to do those things first, because after you do that, then you have a new set of problems. A new set of problems is like, how do I communicate with my team in a more efficient way? Because now you have a team of like 2 to 3 to 5 people. So that's the next step, is like, well, how do I make sure that I'm using the right system so that when I talk to my team, we can all be on the same page? Because my time is money, and I need to optimize and level up my communication. So those are different problems. Those are different level problems, but that's a really good question. Any other questions you guys have left? What's up, everyone on Instagram here? We are live on the YouTube page answering questions, and I'm doing the best to answer these questions not just based off pure experience, no assumptions, just stuff that I've been through, things that I witnessed, things that I had to bear, and whatnot. So, by the way, I'm not crying. I just my eye, something got into my eye. By the way, if you guys are loving this, I'm loving this because as you guys know, like what I said is like I'm being very blunt, very bold. So if you guys can hit the like button to help a content creator out like myself, that would be wonderful. Thanks for hitting the like button. I appreciate you guys all. By the way, for those who are coming into the actual chat a little late, yes, I will leave this to be available to be replayed because the message is potent. The message is going to change your photo booth life. And this message is absolutely free, but you have to actually apply these fundamentals. These are the fundamentals. Look, for the rest of the people that are watching right now, when you get your ass to the photo booth expo, right? Say you're looking at your husband and you're looking at your wife, babe, I think we should go to the photo booth expo. I think it'll be a really good idea. Okay, you guys are investing in yourself. That's a business expense. Take your ass to the photo booth expo. You guys are going to get inspired. You guys are going to get motivated. But how many of those things are you actually going to implement when you get back to your house? A lot of people lose that fire. It's like going to church on Sundays, getting straight with the Lord, and on Monday you're fucking around again. Like you have to be consistent, okay? All right, David, you're really going hard on these. I have to go hard. These are entrepreneurs. They can take it. Any more questions? Here we go. Oh, yeah, some more questions coming in. Right there. I work a 9 to 5 and I've noticed my business is tanking. I want to level up my booth this year by reshifting my focus and actually seeing growth. For those that are working a 9 to 5 that have noticed their business is tanking, go on your phones, type in photo booth and type in also photo booth rental. Do those two private searches. Do those two searches individually and see if there's any new photo booth companies in your local area. If you notice that there are more companies popping up, what's happening is you're splitting a bigger piece of the pie because supply and demand. However, that has to do nothing with your success. Because remember what I just shared with you guys in the beginning of this video. You guys do that, you guys will start beating your competitors. And beating your competitors has so much benefit because you guys will start accumulating more leads. You guys are accumulating more revenue. You guys are accumulating more reviews on your Google page. You guys are accumulating more content to put on your social media. It has such a huge payout. And if you're working a 9 to 5, stop bullshitting and watching long series on Netflix. Stop scrolling and watching entertaining stuff on social media. Start working on your business. 9 to 5 is only 8 to maybe 9 hours a day. You still got like 10 hours to put into your photo booth business, baby. All right. How do you reach out to another company to partner up to white label? So what I do is either because of my platform, I can always put out a shout out, like a post shouting people out, and then they'll email me or send me a message. But if you don't have a platform similar to mine, it's actually much easier to do this. Just like I said earlier, go on your phones, type in 360 photo booth, search. Look at the top 10 Google pages that pop up, and then go also do this. Go 360 photo booth rental and also do a search. So you do a search for photo booth rental and you do a search for 360 photo booth rental. Excuse me. And then once again, your top 10, you can reach out to them via email. And if you're going to go if you're going to go that route, make sure you have a template email so that you can just copy and paste every single time you reach out to them, and you don't have to make compose an email manually every single time. That'll super suck. All right. You know what? For those that are watching, I'm going to show you something here real quick because you just sparked an idea here. I'm glad I'm doing this stream. So let me go ahead and share a page here with you. I'm going to share my Honeybook page. Okay, so I'm sharing my Honeybook page. We received an inquiry from a client named Katie, right? And now for Katie, as a white label company, all I'm going to do is this. For Katie, I'll go to templates, and then it's funny that I'm showing you guys this. I didn't expect to show you guys this, but it works out really well. So I'll go to the template that says fully booked. It says, hi, Katie. Thank you so much for reaching out and considering us. I truly appreciate you thinking of us for your event. At the moment, we are fully booked for your date, Thursday, March 4th, 2027. And then what I'll do is says, with your permission, I'd be more than happy to share your inquiry with one of these partners so they can reach out to you directly and see if they are a good fit for what you are looking for. All right, this is the template. Boom, all that information. How I set it up is Honeybook took their name, took their event date, and then also created the rest of the message that I had already revised and refined. And as soon as they reply to that email, and I'm going to go ahead and hit send. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit this. Now, as soon as they reply to that email, guess what? That lead that came in gets even hotter because they're basically saying, damn, they're booked. Oh, wait, they're still going to help me find someone for my event. Oh, shit, that's great. So as soon as they reply to that email, this is even better because now I know they actually they really are looking for someone. So that's why when I send this lead out to the right contractor, okay, let me go ahead and go back by what I mean by right contractor is some contractors have said, David, if you can actually get any events within this parameter, meaning like anything within Orange County, please hit me up right away. And there's some other folks that are way more hungry that are saying, David, send me anywhere. I'll go everywhere. Just send me leads, right? So for certain folks, what I'll do is I'll send a lead depending on where they're located and where the client's event's going to take place. So what I just showed you guys right there, that right there, I think it's a golden nugget. And not just that, but also what I backed it up with as far as the strategy behind it and how you can word things when expanding and growing as a business. Let's see. Oh, you guys didn't see anything? It was a black screen? Shit. Oh, wait, you guys will be able to probably see it on the replay then. All right. How do you reach out to another company to partner up? Okay, we answered that question. And then for Big Hit Photo Booth, thanks for hitting the like button there, guys. I appreciate you. 90% of my business is coming from Instagram ads. I want to switch over to Google ads to get hot leads and higher quality clients. Did you learn on your own or did you get a mentor? I did a combination of both. I did get a mentor and I did pay for a course that was way too expensive for what they offered. I bit the bullet. That was a company write-off. That was a business expense, right? But they did a shitty job. They could have done a much better job, and I'm not very happy with them. Therefore, I'm not going to recommend them at all. So be careful where you guys spend your money. Some of these people that are actually offering courses, they just don't have any integrity. But anyways, that's another conversation. But here's one thing that I want to add to the answer to your question. If you're switching over to Instagram ads, 90% is I would love for you, maybe you know this off the top of your head, but for every dollar that you're spending on Instagram ads, are you getting any money back? So if you spend $1, let's say you spend $100 on Instagram, right? Out of those $100, how much money are you getting back for those $100? If you can answer that question and you're paying attention to your metrics, then you're basically want to do one or two things. One thing is you want to run that exact same ad with the same amount of budget, but target, different people this time, different zip codes to see if that made a difference. And once you start running tests, right, and you have strong stats and you realize this is just eating up all my money and it's not really giving me the return that I want, then what you do is you find what's the optimal amount to spend on IG that's still producing leads, but then you start taking the rest of the budget and you start allocating it to either Facebook or Google ads, and you start testing actually those platforms. And once you don't just test it for 1 week or 1 month, you test it for 3 to 6 months. And if you start seeing a much bigger return, then what you do is you pull the rest of the budget from Instagram ads and you start putting into whatever specific platform you manage to master or that's working really well for your business. That's what I would do. In fact, that's what I've done. Just because I sucked at Google ads, TikTok ads, and Facebook ads, I didn't even get into it. And by the way, guys, I sucked really bad at Google ads in the beginning. I sucked really bad. But then, of course, I started getting better and better and better. And then I also started implementing AI into my Google ads. And it was just the biggest game changer for me. I said I was going to be on here for just about 5 minutes here. What's up, Entertainment? DX9. What's up, Joker? All right, guys, I'm going to bring it to a close. I don't really see any new questions pop up. Let me see any more questions popping up before I bounce. Honeybook versus Check Cherry. Check Cherry. I think the co-founder reached out to me, Check Cherry. I think it was the co-founder from Check Cherry. I didn't make time to meet with him. I've been handling other matters. So I don't know too much about Check Cherry. But however, if I do have a sit down with him, and he can show me how check cherry works and how beneficial it could be, then who knows? Maybe I'll do. Maybe I put check cherry on the map. Maybe I've heard that name before, and I've seen it at the photo booth expo. But I don't know how great they are. I used HoneyBook, and HoneyBook is, I'm gonna be honest, HoneyBook is not bad. It goes back to what we said earlier. And it's not that it doesn't work. It's just us, right? And if it's not fit for our character, right, for our design, then it is what it is. We need to find something that really matches kind of our lifestyle and our personality. So if HoneyBook doesn't work for you, then of course you can try a different point of sale or a CRM system. All right, let's see. HoneyBook, have you checked out Check Cherry? If so, thoughts to share? No, I don't have any thoughts on Check Cherry just yet. Maybe in the near future. White label, how would you work out a deal with the photo booth company? For starters, and what I mean for starters is this: if you are considering becoming a white label company, you have to have the whole thing as far as leads already. Like you just have to have that already. Because if you're going to be a lead generation photo booth company, right? If you're going to become a lead generation agency for photo booth companies, then you have to be getting a ton of leads on the weekly basis so that you guys can actually start bringing revenue every single time one of your contractors closes a lead. Now, as far as the structure, as far as compensation and things of that nature, it's going to go back to how you guys want to set yourselves up as a business. I'll give you an example. When I first started doing white label, I was experimenting with everything from the reach out to the contractor, from the templates to the workflow. So it was a simple 10% for every event that they would close. Now, here's what happened. Some people will close a $400 event. That's only $40 in my pocket. Then there'll be someone else that closes a $1,100 event, and that's over $100 in my pocket for just making the connection, right? So it's up to you guys how you want to set that up. I think it's important to think of that number beforehand so that you guys are not spinning your wheels. Big hit photo booth. Yes, I spent $200 making $2,000 plus. Then what do you mean by, wait, are you the same? Yeah, dude, if you're spending $200 and making $2,000 plus, I don't understand why you would leave the Instagram ads and spend time and money trying to figure something else out if that's already working. It's a no-brainer. If you're actually, truthfully, honestly spending only $200 and making $2,000 plus, you should be investing $2,000 instead of $200 if you're being honest. Because to me, it sounds like cap. But like I said, you just never know. You might do something much better than I do. So if that's truth, then you're off as far as how much money you're spending right now. Because if I can make $2,000 for $200 that I spend, then I'll be investing more than $2,000 for sure, bro. Or a homegirl. I don't want to assume. But yeah, because that's a great return. Fuck yeah. We got Pujo, return on ad spend. I don't know what you mean. You just wrote that, so I don't know what you mean by that. I've been testing the ad for the last 2 months. Okay, good. 2 months. Maybe push it to 3 months, because remember, it's also like seasonal. So 3 months gives you an entire quarter. I think 3 months is going to give you more stats. Odyssey Entertainment rights. Video on Google Ads with AI coming soon. Video with that? No, that will not be coming to video soon. I do have a course online. It's upwards of $4,197 to show you guys how to run Google Ads, and I do a 6 one-on-one meet with you guys via Zoom or Google. But yeah, we get on a call every single week to make sure you guys are on the right trajectory. Although I don't really push that hard, because quite honestly, I'd much rather you guys take so much passion and figure it out. Because once you guys figure that out, then it just shows how serious you were about your growth, how serious you were about growing. If you guys decide to hire me, then I respect you as well, because basically saying, David, it's not that, it's just that I'm willing to pay you to minimize the learning speed. Like, I want to learn much faster, so I'd rather pay you, and I get that. So those two is what I recommend. But I love it when I see people figure things out for themselves with just a few breadcrumbs. They can follow the trail and get to that golden goose. Let me see. Guess I jumped on too late. Was it 365? Yeah, 365 Shutter. I jumped in too late. I wanted to say thanks again for all the great information. Glad it helps. I hope it helps. Big hit photo booth. Do you offer courses on learning Google Ads for the photo booth business? There is a course online. I just said that. So something I will have to work on. I would like to expand the photo booth white labeling to white labeling DJs, party planners, and catering. Yeah, I mean, once you learn Google Ads or you master any advertisement platform, you're always going to be successful, whether you're running a nail salon, if you're running a food truck, whatever you do. The fact is, once you learn how to run local ads, you're going to be unstoppable, man. Big hit photo booth. IG doesn't bring in more leads for adding more money. I've tried increasing up to, but big hit, if that's the case, are you broadening your zip codes? Because when you're running ads on IG, it gives you a radius or certain cities that you want to target. So if one radius, right, one zip code, for example, radius is only limiting you at a certain amount of leads, but there's more leads going beyond that radius, that's one thing to figure out. So that's something that I learned when I was trying to do IG as well. So if you already did that, then yeah, that makes total sense to actually start diving into either Facebook ads or Google ads. I totally get where you're coming from. Thanks for clarifying, brother or sister. Sweet, thank you. You're welcome. Yes, so true. We got Raymundo. Leo, he says, funny though, I don't really use ads on social media. I literally, all I had experience of my, what? Really don't use ads on social media. Literally all had experience of my booth. They are tagging me who's looking for photo booth. They are the ones my marketing. Yeah, we'll see how long that works for you, bro. That's not a long-term plan. If you plan on scaling an actual photo booth company, relying on someone else to tag you to get leads, that shit is not gonna work very long. And I'm only saying this because trust me, over 4 years in business, organic leads has died down a lot. But if it's working for you right now, use that money you're bringing in and start learning some type of Google ads, Facebook ads. That way your business continues to grow. Yardi says, hey, love your content. You've really inspired me to start my business. I have a question though. What generation iPad would you recommend for the iPad photo booth and the printer as well, please? The best bang for your buck is going to be the iPad Air. Don't go overboard and get the iPad Pro. You're going to pay way too much money for a system that's way too powerful for GIFs and photos and short videos. All you need is an iPad Air, and I recommend getting the 13-inch iPad Air. Get the one with cellular capability. Do not be cheap and get the one with the Wi-Fi, and then you get yourself into a situation in which you're at the venue and the venue has shitty Wi-Fi, or you're trying to save money and use your phone as a mobile hotspot. A phone call comes in, the signal over there gets dropped. Not just that, but the phone wasn't really meant to be for a mobile hotspot long term. It's going to cut in and out. So you're much better off getting a iPad Air, the latest generation or the 5th generation, and making sure you get the larger one, the 13-inch with cellular capability, minimal internal memory. Don't waste money on that. You don't need to waste money on that. Most of these photo booth software applications allow us to save those photos up in the cloud. So that's what I recommend. That question came from the Instagram. All right. I don't see any more questions this time for real here. What's up, David? Are you going to the photo? No, I'm not going to the photo booth expo. I've been to so many photo booth expos. I even went to the one out in United Kingdom. And quite honestly, the photo booth expos will hype you up, and that's it. Like, all right. So here's my experience with the photo booth expo. You're going to go there either as a merchant or you're going to go there as a consumer. That's it. And so even the folks on stage giving out a speech, they're merchants. They're going to sell you something. They're selling you a concept. They're selling you a product. They're selling you some type of course, right? Consumer is all the people that are going to go and either buy a course, buy a prop, buy a photo booth. You're going to fall into one of those two categories. That's it. It's that simple. If you're going there as a consumer, you're going to be oohed and awed by, oh, that's cool. What? But most of the stuff there doesn't have longevity. Some of the things there are just trending. And then within a few months to maybe a year, they're no longer trending. So what I recommend, if you guys go to the Photo Booth Expo, talk to other consumers there. Talk to to other people there not selling anything, and see if you can find some of those heavy hitters. See if you can find some of those people that have been in business for over 5 years. Pick their brain. The cool part is you could probably pick their brain for free, right? Buy them some coffee, buy them a meal, whatever. But that's where I got most of my, how can I say this, value from. Is not getting a booth at $100 off because it's a promotion, or $200. It's just, that's equipment, right? That's hardware. What you guys want is, when you guys go to the Photo Booth Expo, what you guys really, really want is peace of mind. Something that maybe is not tangible, but can be used as a philosophy. And as soon as you get home, you start implementing that and applying it. So once you find the application, right, and you start seeing results, then you really won when it came to the Photo Booth Expo. You've talked to the right people, you implemented the right strategies, and now you're building your business based on strong pillars that actually mean something. So when it comes to the Photo Booth Expo, guys, that's what I recommend, is network like crazy, right? Not so much with the so-called experts, but with people that have been in the game for a long time, because they have a thing or two they'll teach you. And most of them that are actually going out there, some of them are pretty humble. Some of them will share information with you. So that's what I would recommend when going to Photo Booth Expo. So should you go to the Photo Booth Expo? I think people should at least go once during their lifetime. Not so much their lifetime, but during their photo booth career, because it allows you to kind of get a much broader picture of how things are going in different states, right? Sometimes people fly in from outside of the country, so you get to see like how the photo booth industry is developing, for example, out in, let's say, the Middle East, or out in like, it's what I'm saying, guys, is go out there, network. Don't be closed-minded. Don't be quiet. It's not a good point to be introvert. When you go to the Photo Booth Expo, you have to rub shoulders. You have to talk to people. That's where you're going to get the most value. Okay, so I hope that helps. That Milton guy, you're welcome. Big photo booth, you're a dude. All right, good. Now I know. I'll try to remember that. Good. Thanks, Eric. Thank you for your support, advice, and videos. Is there any way to support financially? No, brother, not at all, man. But thank you for the offer. If you're ever in the market for a photo booth, that's one thing I've created, designed, created, and distributing Mr.Professional photo booth, who I took time to make a video and see how it stacks up against the Guac and Chips booth, that I strongly feel probably not the most value. So for me, I found what I would say, I found a discrepancy. I was like, that booth is close to that booth basically is over $6,000. It's like, I wanna challenge them. So I'm the underdog. And it's cool being the underdog, I guess. All right. 1 hour, 10 people, 12 people, 16, but it was great. It was great having you guys here today. Thank you so much for your support. Most important, thank you for your attention. And I hope everything that I shared with you here today in this video changes your life as a business owner, and changes your life right away, because life is way too short and you're constantly doing things and sacrificing your life force that you don't get back. You don't get back time. So please invest in yourself, invest in your team, invest in better software. But first invest in yourself. Everything else comes secondary, guys. Break away from people who don't support your business, who's never promoted your business. Friends and family, sometimes they just called friends and family, but they really fall short in many areas in which it doesn't serve us as business owners. So keep the real ones around. Life is too short to have fake people around you, and life is too short for you to live life filled with distractions. Leverage AI, okay? I want you guys to leverage Claude. I want you guys to leverage Gemini, ChatGPT. I want you guys to go on your desktop, and I want you guys to download ChatGPT Atlas, because with ChatGPT Atlas, when you open up your browser using ChatGPT Atlas, ChatGPT will see your screen, and so you can talk to ChatGPT as you're navigating, doing different things. And ChatGPT will help you grow so fast. It'll be incredible. I leverage ChatGPT, and look at me, like, this is a great life. It gets to a point where I have to think to myself, what's next, Dave? What are we doing next? Whatever it is, make sure you feel passionate about it, because it got to the point where money is no longer a thing. It's about, where do I feel the most fulfilled? And so sharing this message here with you guys, I know I came in strong. I know I came in very bold and blunt, but it's because I got frustrated seeing people to say they want to succeed, but their actions tell me otherwise. I don't know if I said that last part right. I think some more messages came in last minute. Yeah, I saw the video. Guac and chips is overpriced for nothing, like nothing. I bought the salsa for $800 with the iPad 4 days ago, and I'm not surprised. Damn. For those who bought the salsa booth, guys, I'm sorry, man. I get calls on a daily basis for Mr.Professional, and some folks bought the salsa booth, and that's probably been one of the things that they said it wasn't the best idea. So I tell them, well, try to liquidate it as soon as possible. All right, guys, here. Let's even take, photo booth supply away from this conversation. I wouldn't recommend you guys buy an iPad booth at all. The quality is not gonna make your, all right. When you guys got an iPad booth, it's gonna be the same thing as taking a selfie with your iPhone, using the cheapy camera, the one that I'm looking at right now, not even the primary camera. Your clients deserve more. Your clients deserve the best. And yes, there is truth that when someone's at an event, sometimes it's not even about the photo quality. It's just about them having fun. But for me, they will only be willing to pay so much money for that type of entertainment. The people that are really going to spend money are expecting a high quality digital file, a high quality printout, and a high quality experience. That you can do with a DSLR photo booth or a mirrorless photo booth. By the way, I want you guys to start using the term mirrorless. Mirrorless are modern day cameras. They have viewfinders. DSLR cameras are old school cameras, but I say DSLR because when I say mirrorless, people think of a mirror booth, and it's confusing. But yes, I feel bad for the folks that are still buying iPad booths because they don't know any better. They figured, I already own an iPad. I can just buy a booth for a few $100s and I'll be set to go. Quickly realize, like, shit, it's not as easy as I thought, because people, the consumer, is smarter, guys. They know, hey, this company's going to pull up with a flash head. This company's going to pull up with an actual camera that has 24 megapixels. This photo booth company has great photos on their Instagram and Google profile. I want that for my event. So what I mean is that consumers are more educated. They have more access to data, so they can run a quick profile on you and take a look at your resume, aka your social media page. So for those who buy iPad booths, just figure it out. I sold all my iPad booths. iPad booths have one thing that I would say could work if you do the drop-off concept, but then you need multiple iPad booths. Okay, so you have multiple iPad booths. That means you're gonna have to have multiple accounts on those iPads with multiple licenses for the photo booth software and multiple data plans giving your wireless carrier, because every iPad you drop off, you can't rely on the venue's Wi-Fi. That iPad has to have its own data to render the photo if there's AI involved, and also to text message the photo to whoever is there, because they might not have an iPhone, so they won't be able to use AirDrop, so you have to text message it to them. This isn't really aligned with this video here today, but this information that I'm providing you guys here with is important, because I see too many people making the mistake of investing in things that don't have a long-term return on their investment. I hope that helps. Been in the expo. Yes, you are right. Smart move is to find those people in the industry as event coordinators. Event coordinators, most definitely. Luna Events Co. Any other good books to read? Read Atomic Habits already. Shit, there's another book called Power versus Force. That book is another book that's an incredible book. I actually have, that's one of the ones I'm actually reading right now. You're thinking, like, Dave, what are you reading, bro? What are you, in the early 2000s? No, the truth is like sometimes like opening a book and just like not looking at a phone screen with the light hitting your eyes and just looking at just reading is I don't know, it does something to the brain. So I still pick up a book every now and then, even though it's more for me it's easier just to pull out my phone and read something. I still read a book every now and then. So yeah, the book is called and let me make sure there's no books with the same title. So it's called Power versus Force book. Here it is. It's by David R. Hawkins. And it's not David Rodriguez. His name just has to be David R. Hawkins. Power versus Force. That right there, my friend, is an incredible book. Every book contains so much truth, and it doesn't mean anything unless you actually apply what you learn from that book. That's when you really start seeing your life unfold a different way. All right, we are over an hour and 10 minutes. This has become more of a marathon, but I guess we can continue moving forward with your questions because who knows when you guys will see me again, right? All right, let's see. Pujo guac chips is priced as an ecosystem with Fiesta and everything Photo Booth Supply Co. sells. Yes, Photo Booth Supply Co. has really mastered a concept, and that's having everything under one roof. And it's smart for them because if they're not selling more booths, then they're still making money off of the actual subscription-based software, which is pretty smart because companies get wealthy off of subscription-based products, after subscription-based services, because the client keeps paying. Right? That's what we learned through Netflix. And so they open up the idea. That's why nowadays, guys, you see car washes like Quick Quack Car Wash. They have a subscription base. I pay them $56. I have 2 cars. My daughter could take her car anytime. I could take my car anytime, just drive through, get my car washed, and I just pay a subscription. And that right there is pretty amazing. So I understand why they do it, but it might not make sense for the actual small business owner to take that much of a leap and then have that much of a commitment up front. That's a lot of money, even for me. Thank you for helping me start. You're welcome, VVS Bot. Talk that talk. All right. Thank you, Odyssey Entertainment. Thank you. I understood you designed a photo booth. If so, I will look for it. Yeah, here, I'll put the link right there because I am in sales at the end of the day. So Mr.Professional photo booth is one of the world's most versatile photo booth. I'll go ahead and put it right here in the chat for you guys. That's going to be my plug for the day. I did say I wasn't going to sell you guys anything, and I'm not, but I'm going to want you guys to consider this, maybe bookmark it when you are ready to get one of the world's most versatile booths that actually went up head to head with the guac booth. And you guys can see those videos on my channel because I had to dive deep and showed you guys the differences. There were some wins for the Booth Supply Co. that I thought they nailed it right here. And there were most areas for my booth was like, I'm feeling really confident about Mr. Professional Photo Booth 2nd generation. Cool. All right. Any other questions? We got Don't Blink. I know this is crazy, but a really good book I read is Get Rich by Lucky Bitch. A lady at Photo Booth Expo a few years ago recommended. There you guys have it. That's what the book is called. That's a very catchy title. Very, very catchy title. It says, Yardi writes, hey, David, I wanted to ask which device is best to start off with for a beginner? Please specify what you mean by device. I don't know what you mean by device, whether are you referring to camera? Are you referring to the booth? Are you referring, please clarify. Have you had the champagne? Have you had the champagne? Refresh my mind. Yeah. I rarely drink champagne. Oh wait, are you the gentleman that came by when I was having the garage sale? If so, I did have the champagne. And quite honestly, one of the most delicious champagnes I've had, probably because I haven't had a lot of champagnes because I don't really drink champagne, but it was really good. Thank you. I got to share with a couple of friends and family. Appreciate it. All right. Any more here? Any more questions? DSLR plus iPad face, best investment. All right. Let me see. Thanks. That's true. I'll change the titles on my site and pages. Okay. That's what I want. The DSLR booth. All right. Let me see. They write here, I do a lot of drop-offs. That's where my income is coming from for the most part. But to really make money, you need a lot of volume, and it's definitely work. That's such a strong point from Big Hit Photo Booth. When you do the drop off concept, it goes back to economics. You have to drop off the booth, and you yourself have to drop off multiple booths, and you yourself have to go from wherever you're at during the night and circle back and pick up those booths one by one. And you have to do it in a timely manner, because if the venue closes at 11 p.m. and your client, you're offering a drop off all day, and all your clients want you to pick up the drop off at 11 p.m. because they want it to the very last minute, guess what? How are you going to get to 3 locations at the same time? You're not. And guess what? If you show up too early, the client's going to be like, but hey, what happened? 11 p.m., you're here at 10:30. They don't care that you got to go pick up another booth. You advertise an all-day drop-off, all-night drop-off. So you have to figure out, how am I going to pick up all 2, maybe 3 booths before 11 p.m. with the clients being okay? This is something you guys have to agree on before the actual night expires, right? Or before you even drop off the booth. So these are some things to consider also when dropping off the booth as well. So that's a good point that you made. And remember, guys, you have to circle back and bring those booths back with you. Now, this would make sense if you had 3 to maybe upwards of 5 booths drop-off concepts, and you had a golfer, meaning you had a driver, you had a runner that drops off and picks up, drop off and picks up, and then you just stay behind looking at the photo booth application dashboard to make sure that the photos are being captured with decent lighting. That would work if you remove yourself from the equation instead of driving back and forth. If you guys do Uber and you guys are dropping off booths and you're doing Uber at the same time, and I see why you're doing it, it makes sense, because all you're doing all day, you're on the road just making money on 4 wheels. That's a different lifestyle, but hey, it might work for you, it might not. I don't know. I'm just saying. You're welcome, Odyssey. Watched the videos earlier today. It was good. Yeah, you guys like the photo booth comparison? I did my best to dive into what's important, I feel, to anyone, whether it's a beginner or someone that's been in the industry for a while. Let me know if you have time to rate my website. Send it over real quick. Let's see here. Hey, David, what's your suggestion on Canon R50V camera for the DSLR booth? I bought one this January for my photo booth. The Canon R50, is that the latest? Is that the latest vlogging camera? Canon R50? Sounds like the latest one. If you have the standard R50, that's the old one. Let me see, Canon R50V. Yeah, this is the new one. You know what? I don't know the new one too well. I do know that it has a hot shoe, and I think it's 24 megapixels. It's a good vlog. It's a good camera for video. It's a decent camera for video. They should have added the image stabilization. It doesn't have image stabilization. And I don't think it has, here, just to make sure, I don't think it has the pivot screen, does it? Yeah, it does have the flippy screen. I don't know too much about the camera, but it should get the work done. This is a good hybrid camera is what I would say. So it does good video and it does great camera, but it's still a crop sensor camera. For the amount of money you're spending, not bad, because for the R100, you're spending similar money. You're probably spending about $150 less for a Canon R100, which is still the industry staple. But if you already own that Canon R50V, solid. I think it's a solid camera. I haven't dove too much into the details, but I love me some Canon colors, right? All right, 1 hour, 18 minutes. I'm making a mental note every time I look at my screen. I've been here with you guys for a while here. What's up, everyone on Instagram? If you guys are enjoying what Dave is putting down, if you guys want to come over to the studio here, we're doing a live on YouTube. So post your questions here. Let's see here. Yeah, it's more for video and photos. Yeah. And it's good video, especially if it has a lens that has image stabilization. If it has a stabilizer lens, video should come out okay. If it's on a tripod, even better. It should suffice. It's similar to my Sony. Yeah. So those are really cool vlogging cameras. So yeah, that should work well. And just like anything, guys, whether it's your iPad, whether it's your photo booth, whether it's your software, whether it's your printer, always learn that thing in and out so you can push it to its maximum specifications. And what I mean by that is, if you get a printer, learn how to increase the saturation on that printer. Learn how to update that printer properly so that when it does print, it prints them out as fast as possible. Same thing with software. Learn your software in and out. See what its limitations are. And that's how you really become successful. For the folks that buy Mr. Professional Photo Booth from my online store, as soon as they start reaching out for help for little things, I tell them, hey, wait a minute. You are the business owner of your company. I need you to love your company enough to actually figure out your camera. This is your camera, right? And so even though Mr. Professional does come with an asset folder, it comes with the video vault, it gives them access to do certain camera settings. I need every person who actually invests to become so obsessed as, hey, I am the science of my business. I'm going to experiment and I'm going to nail down, and I'm actually going to just kill it when it comes to like becoming really good at photography. I provide you with those videos, but guys, it's nothing like repetitions. So even when you guys invest in a course, whatever it is, ultimate success doesn't lay on the book that you bought, the application that you downloaded, the photo booth that you bought. It's always a combination of many little things. And once you combine all those little things, a little bit from this podcast, a little bit from this mentor, a little bit from this course, every single little thing starts going down through this funnel we call life. And then you start reaping the rewards once everything comes into play. And now you're able to do, okay, I can do this because I remember this taught me that, and X, Y, and Z. So there's not one single thing that's going to make your life so much better. All right. Because remember, beginning of the video, what if you learn really good how to run Google ads, but the first part that I shared with you that's absolutely free, you suck at that? Well, now you're going to be paying Google a lot of money every month, but not closing as many leads. So it's going to cost you a lot of money. So this is what I mean by you take multiple things and then you bring them and you fuse them together. And that's when you start becoming a savage, a beast, a legend in the making. Uh-oh. Hey, thank you for hitting the like button, my friends. All right. So you already go ahead and look up Mr. Professional Photo Booth. I promise you'll be super happy, especially because you can use it as a video confessional booth. You can use it as an iPad booth, and you can use it as a actual booth with a camera inside, a mirrorless camera. Yes, you can do all of that with Mr. Professional Photo Booth, baby. I'm telling you, I spent days and nights and years working on that booth. We are on the second generation now. Hey, David, what's your suggestion on Canon? Oh, we already answered that one. I'm aiming to buy the second generation Mr. Professional. Hopefully you get to do this year, man. Let's see. All right. Have a good one, D. Thank you for always dropping them knowledge nuggets, bro. Yeah. All right. You're welcome, guys. Have a great weekend. Happy Friday to y'all if you're watching this on a Friday. But yeah, this was a good ass time for me. I felt like we just slayed it here today. That information came from the heart, came from experience, and I hope you guys start using it immediately. Take care. My name is David Rodriguez. I wish you guys the very best, and work ethic will always trump talent. Peace out.